As two Israel-linked ships sit under IRGC guard and Hormuz stays strangled, has Iran finally carved out the leverage it wanted to squeeze Israel and its allies harder? With tankers seized, U.S. warships challenged and talks frozen, is this the exact Hormuz scenario Israel's security establishment has feared for years? As Washington rethinks long-term aid and Iran parades seized ships on TV, is the old U.S.-Israel security model facing its biggest stress test since the last big aid deal in 2016? And with Pezeshkian drawing a hard red line, is Iran's president quietly ditching further talks until Trump blinks first on the naval blockade? On April 26, Iran's Fars News released a video showing the container ships MSC Francesca and Epaminondas anchored in what it claims are Iranian territorial waters. The footage confirms that both vessels remain in Iranian custody after being seized during a mid-week escalation in the Strait of Hormuz. In the clips, the two commercial ships are shown under IRGC escort, effectively sailing and anchoring under Iranian control in the narrow waterway. Both vessels were attacked and seized by IRGC naval forces on April 22, with Iranian gunboats reportedly firing warning shots before boarding. These latest images are Tehran's way of proving that the captured ships have been towed into Iranian waters and are now firmly under its control, despite U.S. blockade claims. The seizures have sharply escalated tensions along the world's most critical oil route, sending insurers and shippers scrambling to reassess their risk. The wider standoff has now choked most crude and container exports passing through Hormuz, with traffic reduced to a trickle as both sides hold their lines. Iran has released details of a ship it recently seized and moved into its own waters, identifying it as the Epaminondas. The IRGC said it took the vessel into custody on suspicion linked to maritime security violations and alleged cooperation with hostile activity during the U.S. pressure campaign. Press TV, citing an official statement on April 25, identified the seized vessel as Epaminondas. IRGC statement said, and I quote, "The vessel is a container ship that had been en route to Mundra port in India. The vessel is currently sailing under the Liberian flag. Its last recorded position dates back 2 days, near Iran's Larak Island, east of the Strait of Hormuz. According to recorded data, the ship made 36 stops at 11 different U.S. ports between October 2024 and January 2026, during which it unloaded approximately 299,000 tons of cargo." Unquote. Reports say the Epaminondas was seized alongside another vessel, MSC Francesca, on April 22. Iranian state-linked reporting said the two vessels were linked to Israel and were operating without authorization. The IRGC said both ships committed repeated violations and tampered with navigation aid systems. Both vessels have now been transferred to Iranian territorial waters for inspection and examination of their cargo and documents. The seizure came amid the wider Strait of Hormuz crisis, with Iran tying its maritime actions to the confrontation triggered by the U.S. naval blockade. Meanwhile, Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has publicly rejected further talks with Washington as long as the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports remains in place. In an April 25 call with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, Pezeshkian hardened his stance, making the blockade the central obstacle to diplomacy. He told Sharif that the U.S. must first remove operational obstacles, explicitly including the maritime chokehold, before Tehran will consider serious talks. Pezeshkian's message was clear. Only once the naval chokehold is eased will Iran consider a new round of negotiations with the U.S., not before. Pakistan's political and military leadership are now racing to restart U.S.-Iran dialogue, hoping to rescue their mediation initiative before it collapses entirely. Those efforts have intensified after Trump instructed his envoys not to travel to Islamabad for planned weekend talks, effectively freezing the next round. Two Pakistani officials told AP that Islamabad is now scrambling to salvage the mediation track, juggling calls with both Washington and Tehran. For now, with tankers seized, ports blockaded and talks frozen, the Hormuz crisis shows no clear off-ramp, only a dangerous stalemate at sea.